I'm Dr. Yolanda Cintron, and I have a podcast called Dr. Yolie, and I'm so excited today to interview one of my dear patients that is just, she's light. So much information. She's been involved in the healthcare world for over 40 years, although she looks so young, right? She started very young, and there's so much to talk with her that we're going to have multiple podcasts because I know this is going to go into a lot of different directions. But Debbie, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I could barely sleep last night. I was so excited.
I know you're so passionate. And you know what I love about you, that you have such a pure heart. You know, you have seen so much throughout the years. And we are in a time in history that is just a blessing to feel free, to be able to speak about things that in the past we would be persecuted for.
Right.
And then we have a great implementations in the government now with removing fluoride and, you know, removing mercury. And then it's going to get to the point that maybe they will even remove mercury out of dental amalgam. Imagine that.
And also the belief that maybe now it's your option whether you choose not to do vaccines, which is also a blessing also.
I'm so thrilled because, you know, I personally have seen patients of mine, healthy, perfect,
yes,
healthy patient, young people
yes,
in their 30s and 40s that got forced to be vaccinated.
yes.
And now, you know, one of them say, you know, when they did the vaccine, I felt it went into my breast and now I have breast cancer and I never had a problem. So we pray that people will be awakened, and that is the intention for us, you know, for people to ask more questions, and there's no rush in getting chemo, you know, no rush in doing things because cancer, we all have cancer, you know. So cancer is the thing that we have a lot of toxic loads. You know, as a biological dentist, you know that I remove the root canals and the mercuries and all the cavitations and infections. And we have seen people that actually we see a change in a positive way in their medical history. So, you know, you brought some photos that are fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, I would love to. These are done by my partner, Dr. Hilu, in Marbella, Spain. And most people, you see the outside, okay, we're going to put makeup on, maybe we'll do hair dyes. I don't do any of that. Maybe lipstick, or maybe you decide you have a dog and you want to dye it pink. You know, those are just ridiculous toxicities that we do, but those you can see. But what's happening on the inside, you can't see. So I think by breeding pictures, it's one of my best educational tools I can show people, because look, this is how the inside of your body will look with all this beautiful oxygen from hyperbaric and beautiful clean diet and healthy lifestyles. And you are what you eat, and what you eat goes directly into the mouth, and then it gets around the gums and forms cavitations, and it starts taking out your teeth. And then as you swallow, it goes into your your stomach and into your blood system, and it starts spreading out through the body. And it's so easy to get it back to this, and it's so easy to eat this way, as long as you're getting your protein and your amino acids, which I get from hemp hearts, 8 tablespoons a day. That's 27 grams of protein with all the amino acids the human body needs. And I also do chia seed pudding, which is very high in omega-3s, and all the healthy nuts. When you eat clean and you're not eating things that are infected, and you're not with a sexually contagious person that could be bringing things into your mouth or your private areas, that's how the body gets contaminated. Also, I got contaminated many years ago from a bed bug bite that gave me Lyme disease. So that's how the body gets toxic on the inside. Then when we can see the pictures on how easy it is to clean it, maybe it takes you a year or so. These are red blood cells, and this is the background of the blood.
We know,
yes,
but they don't know.
That's a very good question.
So
these are red blood cells and filled with minerals and oxygen on the inside, and it has this beautiful yellow glow. This is a picture of my blood. This beautiful yellow energy around it, which we get from Beamer. And PEMF is what puts the glow there. And of course, our healthy, good foods. And this is the background of the blood that you're looking at, like a clean spring that you would look at, a waterfall where the water's crystal clear and it's not dirty and contaminated and cloudy. Then if you go to a picture like this you will start to see that these red blood cells have the wobbly shape, and bacterias have got inside the cells. And so you can see the difference between a healthy cell and a sick cell.
Let me see. Whoa. That looks like a monster.
Well, that's what takes out our teeth
Yeah.
and eventually can hurt the gums and the brain and other parts of the body.
What are we looking at now?
So these are, again, red blood cells where you can see where they've actually broke the cell wall. You can see the cell walls are broken and the bacteria go in there. And then with the bugs in there, they will begin to form little viruses.
Oh, wow.
Then if we put ozone into the blood and iodine and oxygen and vitamin K2 and vitamin D, all those things begin to heal the blood. And here you can see heavy metals in the blood. You see all the orange and where it looks like it's rusty, that's heavy metals in the blood.
That's beautiful.
And it will acts like a magnet and it will make your cells clump together and stick together. So as we remove those toxins out of the blood system, which you can't normally see inside yourself, but if you have this visual picture of it, and you think of things like saunas and ozone, they're great chelators, chlorella.
So I'm going to keep the good one
out.
I'm going to be your helper.
So you can see the difference.
Yeah. So I want to check my blood. I want to see how it looks because, you know, this is scary.
Yeah, it's one thing to get a report back. And again, it's hard to get an accurate measurement of how much heavy metal is stored in you.
Yeah.
Because what they'll do is a provoked test where they'll give you a chelation solution.
Which is very bad.
And then you collect your urine for 24 hours and it'll only show you what you peed out on any given day. So there's no accurate test. Even the hair analysis, it won't tell you what is stored in the bones and deeper into the body, only what's free floating.
Yeah, I had one of those chelation tests done and I literally went into Parkinson.
Yeah. It's very toxic.
I was like shaking and I said, oh boy, I'm obviously a dentist. I have metals. It was scary. I said, I will never do one of those.
And it's releasing more into you, which is then even giving you an over amount.
Exactly.
Now it's free floating through your blood and your body goes into a panic.
Hershey, reactions.
It's very common, actually. So here's where you can see where people eat a lot of fried foods.
Oh,
and you'll see all
Kentucky
the green.
Fried Chicken.
Yes, all those people that think they're having
AJ,
a piece of veal and it's dipped in flour and eggs and milk and then it's sauteed in some olive oil. All those fats then create all this bile from the liver and give you fatty liver.
All those French fries.
French fries. Oh, who doesn't love that? But I don't eat them. But
there you go.
They're not
no more
good
Jack's
for you.
hamburger for you, Jane.
And see, people don't understand what those fats are doing to their blood and their organs.
Let me tell you, if we were able to see our blood after a meal, most probably this is what we would see if it's a toxic meal.
Yes. Wow. In one meal, it'll show up. In one meal.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And this is under high magnification too, of course. Here's some more of the cells clumping together and heavy metals floating. And you can see how each cell is so squished together.
A heart attack ready to happen.
That is. It's the blood clotting, and then it will be very hard on the heart and the eyes and the brain and will create blood pressure problems. You'll see that with a lot of blood pressure patients. Okay. And then it takes cognitive decline down. Yeah. And then here you can see little viruses inside the cells. You see the little spicules on the cell? You know, on TV it would show the little cartoon drawings of little spicules on the cell when they were talking about COVID. Well, any virus that you have has these little spicules around it. Okay, well, what is it manifested and mutated to today? But it's still a virus. And, you know, we don't know in any of these, you know, again, potential sex partners we have or a piece of meat that you eat. You don't know what viruses they have. You'd have to check their blood first.
Doctor, I have heard people actually, you know, say, I didn't get vaccinated, but they eat meat. Right. And then it sheds. When they get blood work, it shows that they have a virus. So is it that they vaccinated the piece of meat and then you're eating it and you get the virus? How does that work? It could be. That could be one scenario. But how do we know that that animal that you just ate, how do we know it didn't have any ticks? Or it got some kind of bug bite itself? And it had a virus itself. And then when you cook meat, it's not going to get rid of the virus. Virus is very difficult to get rid of. Right. So we don't really know that. So what are the good things that, you know, like with inactivated virus, like our listeners, you know? Foreign protein cleanse is a great one that's out there. And you can Google that. It'll come up in many different websites. But ozone, hyperbaric,
higher amounts of vitamin D. Most people are low in vitamin D. You know, on the vitamin D blood test, the range will be 40 to 100. We typically want the vitamin D level at 90, and it'll say you're within the normal range if you're 50 to 60, and that is way too low for the too low.
Way too low.
Way too low.
Yeah.
And then also, most people are not taking enough vitamin K2, which I was taking K2 anywhere from 100 to 250 micrograms. Now I'm taking 41,000 K2, and that keeps calcifications from forming in the breast or the testicles for men for prostate cancer and things like that. So now we know with that combination of iodine, the sunshine, good healthy diet, making sure that the one that you love, that you're intimate with, that they're on the same lifestyle as you and they're doing these same things as you, far infrared saunas, UV, and all the beautiful full spectrum of light that you get from the sun, and just eating clean. We know, and especially when you have enough D and iodine and K2, your own immune system will kick in. And we know in Japan, hardly no women ever get breast cancer because they take iodine and seaweed every day for generations. And for Americans,
and green tea.
And I love green tea. And Americans, it's not our genetics and our history, and we haven't been doing that for generations. And even if you go get a blood test and you get your iodine tested, it might give you a ballpark range. Maybe it'll say a little bit low, but the best test for iodine is you put a 2x2 square on the wrist, and that should stay there 24 hours. And it may take you weeks or months to get your iodine up to the correct level. But when that 2x2 square of iodine you put on your wrist, when it stays 24 hours, you know the body has enough. And that's when your own immune system can kick in. And that's going to help your teeth and your saliva and your gums and your roots. And it's all related. What you see in the blood, what you see in the mouth, it's all related to contaminants that are in the human body. And it's not that difficult to fix.
So now that you mentioned that, you know, they have correlated high levels of iodine with high intelligence. You know, the women that are pregnant that have been taking iodine, the babies are born with actually very high IQ.
30% higher if they take the correct amount of iodine. 30% while they're pregnant.
Yeah,
that's a very small
attention
amount.
Deficit, huh?
Right. Maybe that's why they can play piano and violin so much better than so many Americans, and they learn at such an early age.
Yeah, very high iodine diet.
Yeah, they'll take it from about 12.5 milligrams up to 30 milligrams for the iodine when they're pregnant, and their IQ will be 30% higher.
Yeah.
It's an amazing number.
I love it. So, you know, we are concerned with iodine because, you know, when people have mercury, the mercury competes with the iodine.
Yes.
So it actually damages the thyroid, the mercury.
Yes.
So you have a lot of people that have mercury toxicity that have thyroid conditions, you know, Hashimoto's.
Because they're
tumors,
low in iodine.
all kinds of things. So these are the things. Mercury, chlorine, fluoride, and iodine, they compete for each other. So if you have a toothpaste with no fluoride and you have no mercury and you take a shower with no chlorine, then you're going to be in great shape, huh?
Right.
So you have the, thyroid getting the good iodine because
that's your main mineral in your food for your thyroid gland. And most people don't realize that. Americans just don't know that much about iodine.
Yeah, iodine is very important. And there's so many people with low energy, you know.
Which would also be an iodine deficiency.
Chronic fatigue syndrome, you know. So it all goes hand in hand.
So you can choose by having clean teeth and clean mouth and a clean diet. You could choose having your insides like figure 1, you're on Dr. Yolanda's side, or this figure, which we don't want. But because you don't see it, you're not aware, so you're not making as good of choices. Like you couldn't pay me $10,000 to go eat something bad because I know within 15 or 20 minutes later, this is how it could go,
you know,
versus keeping it like this. And it's so simple to eat carrots and broccoli and cabbage and all those wonderful things. And
well,
salads.
That's the way we used to eat.
Right. Things
My
out of the garden.
You know, she was born in 1890. Right. So that's all they knew then, right? So my grandparents didn't die from any particular disease. They died from old age.
Right.
they had vital lives, and, they were eating root vegetables,
Everything they
you
could
know.
grow
Yeah.
and picked fresh too, on top of that.
So this is amazing. I love it's like I want to see my blood. So let's talk about, this physical, things that are from the environment. We covered that. Now, do you want to tell me about this piece of equipment that you can get, the ozone and
The Hawkett.
yeah, the Hawkett.
The Hawkett is a machine that will do 100% oxygen, but the head is out, so you're not doing it under pressure.
Mhm.
And you can set in there how much ozone you want to do. Typically, maybe you'll do 10 to 30%, but you have a nice
So
two or
it's through
three.
the skin.
It's going transdermally through the skin,
Uh-huh.
but you're not breathing any of it because you put 2 or 3 white cotton towels around the neck.
And this is a
none of it-
big machine.
Yeah, it's a 300-pound machine.
Yeah,
yes.
this is no toy.
And you will go in that, and we also will set a frequency very similar to the cyber scan.
Uh-huh.
It can read to see, do you have virus, bacteria, parasites, and you can
Mm.
set it for brain repair, liver repair, tapeworm, different kinds of
Wow.
parasites. You can set that frequency, and you will hold stainless steel handles for your hand and also go through the feed.
And you can do that at the same time?
It's 8 things happening at the same time.
Oh, that's
Yes, it is amazing. You should have that and a hyperbaric in your office if you ever get a bigger office.
Yeah, I need like another 2,000 square feet.
Yes, that would
Yeah.
be the dream. Let's put it
Yeah.
out there to the universe.
Because that's those pieces of equipment, the hyperbaric is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I would love
she
to have
she
one.
had talked me into doing hyperbaric. I'd wanted to do hyperbaric for many years, but I know with the one I got, again,
She
I think
actually bought a hyperbaric.
I bought it, and the payments were painful, but it was worth every
How
penny.
big is it? How big is it?
It's 1,000 pounds, and it's 90 inches long by about 5 feet tall, 46 inches wide. So you could put 2 people in there. I don't put 2 people in there. I just put one at a time, set the color therapy, lavender, green, red light, whatever you want, and just breathe in that salt ionization and that oxygen. And it's just amazing. And I have neuropathy patients in their late 70s that have had neuropathy for like 7 years. The neuropathy is gone.
Oh, wow.
Just within 2 months.
And you're in Naples, right?
Yes, and we're doing 3 times a week for 60 to 90 minutes.
Wow.
And I've got,
I'm going to have to move to Naples to get all these treatments.
No, we need to put it the universe. We get you a connecting suite bigger, and I'll come here and do it for you here.
Oh, wow.
But Dr. Yolanda had talked me into really pushing me to go ahead and get that hyperbaric, and I'm so grateful she did. And it's already helped so many people. And even for myself, because I'm almost 70, so I went off my hormones, and then my hormone level went down. And then 2 months I did hyperbaric, and they rechecked my hormones, and the doctor said, "Oh my gosh, all your hormones are perfect. What did you do?" I said, "Nothing but hyperbaric."
That's
And the
insane.
hyperbaric made it all come back.
Yeah.
Hair's regrowing, hair's getting darker.
She doesn't look 70, I can tell you that. That's amazing. But the healthy lifestyle, being involved in this kind of environment for a lifetime. Because let's talk a little bit about your family history, and how, your mom and your sister, we sometimes, God puts us in difficult situations that we are forced into learning for our own survival. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and I have horrible gene mutations, which maybe 40 or 50% of us don't have really good genes, because my grandparents, mother and father, were first cousins, and they met on a stagecoach when there was no cars and there was no electricity and there was no running water. And they had 11 kids, but they all died in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of the gene mutations, because that's why first cousins are not supposed to marry. Clearly, they were compatible. They had 11 kids. They absolutely loved each other. But they didn't know back then that first cousins can't marry, right? So therefore, then when my genes are studied, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a good thing. They tell me it's a good thing you're in the wellness field, because my brother and sister died in their 40s, right? And, they didn't choose to change. My other 2 brothers and sisters have not changed, but I chose this wellness path, and to change the diet and change everything in my life. Filtered water, even in the shower, in the bathtub, even in the home, even what's going in the washing machine, eating only organic, eating fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and all the healthy, beautiful salads and hemp hearts and chia seed puddings and things like that. And it's just so easy to do this. Once it becomes a habit,
Right.
it's just your lifestyle. It's
Right.
not even any work. It's so easy at that point.
Right.
And you look back at my grandmother, because it wasn't on her side, she lived to be about 87. But like your grandparents, she grew everything she ate. She even had her own chickens. She didn't eat the chickens, but she ate the eggs.
Yeah.
Right? So that's just how they did it. It was the Depression times back then. They had to
Exactly.
grow what they wanted, and they would share it with neighbors.
And they're like, we were so poor, but you know what? You're alive.
Right.
My aunt, one of my aunts, passed away at 96 recently, but she ate bad. Okay.
But she might have had good genes.
But she had good genes,
Right.
and she ate good when she was poor, right? But she lived to be 96. And, you know, obviously she was eating a lot of carbs and things that were not the best, or exercising, which is very important. It's like a lifeline. And she developed diabetes. But she was vital, cognitive, you know, great attitude all her life. And now I have my second oldest aunt. She just turned 94, Aunt Marie. And she's doing great. But, you know, they ate what they say, you know, a lot of poverty, and it was a depression time. So it was a luxury to eat meat, right? And so that was a good thing.
Right, absolutely. And that's when the disease came about. When people got wealthier, they could go to the store and just buy whatever the stuff they wanted. Even, I'm sure your grandparents remember, my grandmother always said they had to make their own clothes, and they had to even make their own creams. You could not even buy creams.
Right.
You had to make it all from scratch with whatever ingredients you could find.
Right. Olive oil is good.
Right. Oh, the Mediterranean knew that a long time ago, long before us. Yeah, it's all healthy lifestyle.
So let's talk about, so if you have a patient, for example, you know, that had root canals and we got them out, and the mercury and all the cavitations, what do you recommend for them to do as a detoxification? You know, obviously you're going to counsel them to become, you know, vegan and have more natural things.
Not everybody is a vegan. Like some people will eat the wild salmon.
Okay.
You know, and I think that's a cleaner piece of fish to have. I don't choose to do that because I'm getting 60 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. But a lot of people will eat the wild salmon, and that's not a bottom feeder. You know, what is the fish diet? It's dead bugs. And I don't really want to eat something that eats dead bugs.
Okay.
That doesn't make me happy to do that.
Yeah. She knows too much.
And also, we don't know if they were in heavy metal water or if there was any fungus. Let's look at a picture of fungus, because a lot of the animal blood has fungus in it, and this is what fungus looks like.
That's nasty.
Okay, and the fungus is like cheese in the blood.
Yeah.
And the parasites will go and eat off of that. You will see spirochetes and different bugs just attaching to that and just gnawing at it, because it's like, oh, that's like cheese on a pizza, and they will just eat that. That's their food.
Right. Wow.
So we don't know if that meat, has it been in clean water that doesn't have fungus in it? Because good luck with finding that.
Well, remember that if somebody had mercury to begin with, the body is going to grow candida.
Yes.
So now already they have a problem of yeast overgrowth.
Right, which is what this is. So the white is the candida. So the fungus comes in black, white, red, and brown.
Okay.
And how do we know, without, we could take a drop of the blood from that animal or fish first, how do we know that that's not in there? So that's why I choose, but I don't make anyone else choose that. I always tell everybody, you choose your own path. I can give you knowledge, but what you want to do with that and how you want to get your protein, that's strictly up to you. I do beans and lentils and all the healthy nuts, and I love millet. I don't eat oatmeal. I love millet. And maybe I'll do the purple or the black rice, sometimes red rice.
The black rice.
Oh, the black
so
rice.
good.
That's what they saved for all the kings and the queens.
Oh, it's delicious.
It's delicious. That's what I had last night, so that's delicious.
That is a luxury, the black rice. You know, I just bump into it, and I bought it. I didn't even know how to make it. I'm like, I'm looking at the box.
In a rice cooker. It's perfect.
Yeah. I finally put bone broth, and I cooked it in the bone broth with garlic and onions and whatever. It was so delicious. I brought it here. Everybody was like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, it was really delicious.
I put coconut oil in mine.
Okay.
And it's quite delicious with the filtered water with a little pinch of sea salt.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it is so yummy. You
Yeah.
still got all those good fats in there because
Yeah.
coconut and
Yeah.
avocado.
Oh yeah.
And those
MCT.
special,
Yeah.
those oils are so good for the brain.
I do that
Remember
every
the old
day.
drawing of the clock? The Alzheimer's patient couldn't even draw the hands on a clock where it was 15 after or 30 after, and they gave him coconut oil.
MCT oil.
And then he could draw the clock after that. So coconut oil and avocado oil is very important. Olive oil too, of course, for the brain.
Yeah. So, that's a good topic to speak about because we have some patients that have cognitive decline due to brain inflammation.
Yes.
Caused by infections that go to the brain.
Right.
Or actually mercury.
It all starts in the mouth, right?
Yeah.
It all starts in the mouth.
So we find that, the MCT oil, they are recommending, a significant amount of coconut oil to be included in the diet.
Yes.
And, that really makes a big difference. What do you think of other things that you can do for the brain to increase omega-3s? Like, how do you do it?
I do the chia seed pudding every day.
Yeah?
Yes.
So how do you do it?
So I don't believe everything I find on the internet. The internet will say soak it 15 to 30 minutes. I soak mine 24 hours and I make enough for 4 days. And then I will just keep adding water to it because the chia seeds just keep grabbing all the water. And then I'll take out about a cup, about 8 ounces, and put it in a bowl and add cinnamon and add my fresh berries on the top. And it just tastes like cinnamon pudding.
So let's start from scratch. We're in the kitchen.
You just pour the dry chia seeds into a bowl.
On
triple
what water?
Just filtered water. You can use almond milk and things like that, but I just use filtered water.
Wow.
Filtered water.
So I'm going to put coconut milk.
You can put coconut milk and you just soak it.
Maybe
it might not last the full 4 days. So that's why I like to do the water. Matter of fact, I have a little sample of it I brought here if you want to taste it. It's quite good. I have it in my bag there. That's going to be my snack.
So you soak it?
I soak it for 24 hours in water.
In water.
That way you don't have any possibility when you take that chia seed in there and then it gets in your intestines and then it continues to swell, it could actually create a blockage. And it did happen to one of my clients that didn't listen to me and she was soaking them for 30 minutes and then throwing in the blender. I said, please don't do that. I'd like you to soak them 24 hours in the refrigerator and then you can have it the next day. So if I know I'm running out and I'm down to the last day, I will make my next batch for 24 hours later. So it's all done. You don't even have to cook it. You're just throwing it in water.
So you do the chia seed.
And water.
And then when do you put the cinnamon?
Each time I put it in my bowl. Then
when you're going to eat it.
When I'm going to eat it.
So you don't put it there.
No, because sometimes I will take 2 or 3 tablespoons of that and I'll add it to my soup. Or I'll add it to my beans. Or you can even add it to the water or the tea you're drinking. And then you're drinking chia seeds that have formed like a pudding type texture in with whatever drink you're drinking. And you've got the omega-3s in with your drink and you can't even taste it because chia seeds have no taste.
Right.
The only taste you taste is either the cinnamon or the cinnamon with the berries.
Love it. Love it.
That's why I come once a month to get my teeth cleaned because I'm eating blackberries and blueberries and cinnamon and the lingonberries and the sea buckthorn berries. And then when Beautiful Sparkles does my teeth once a month, because I think you should have your teeth cleaned once a month, then I have all the stains on there from all those beautiful berries.
Yeah.
But then she says, I know you're eating right because I can see your blackberries and your blueberries.
That's wonderful. So, we met Debbie. She lives in Naples and she was doing... She didn't know that we took photos of everything.
Oh, that was a shock.
And when she saw her gums, she was in shock that, how can that be, right?
Because I just got my teeth cleaned 2 weeks earlier at the biological dentist over in my town. Yeah. And I would go get my teeth cleaned every 6, 7, 8 weeks. And they said, oh, you're doing 2 or 3 times more than anyone else. Right. And they would always say, oh.
And she was.
And never bleeding in the gums. And they would check the pockets and they would say 1 and 2s. And then I come over here and I see the huge magnified pictures, like looking at these pictures. I almost passed out because then I could see I had 2 4s and a bunch of 3s. And there was a couple places where it was bleeding. Yeah. And now my gums stay magnificent.
Yeah.
But again, I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Once you see the picture, you see it and you know then.
Yeah. So there's different levels of standard of care,
Yes,
you know. So I
clearly.
have patients that they go every 6 months or every year to
Once a
clean.
year,
Once,
yes.
yeah, and that's very humbling because what happens is that we know that there's inflammation, and infection goes to the heart, and it can causes cognitive decline, endocarditis, all kinds of things.
And brain eye issues also.
Yeah.
1 out of 2 people
Yeah.
have eye issues as
Yeah.
they get older.
Yeah, that's
Think how
very.
close your eyes are to your
That
mouth.
we had a lady that had an infection on a tooth
Yeah.
that went to the eye, and she was blinded, and she worked for an eye doctor. So he was like, she went to the eye doctor, she went to the ear, nose, and throat. They couldn't find the problem, and it was right there in the CT scan that they did. They never found it because they're not looking for it. You know, they're not looking for it. But yeah, one of the things that are happening as we get older is blood flow, and the decreased amount of blood flow that goes into the eye, especially if people are eating and increasing the insulin, you know?
Right. Well, and
So-
here's another perfect example of that as you explain it. This is good blood flow, and
Yeah.
every cell is carrying oxygen, and this is not good blood flow.
Wow.
And the cells have stuck together,
Mm-hmm.
causing clots and aggregation, and that will big time affect the eyes.
I would love for this to be standard of care.
Yes,
no?
it should be.
That
it absolutely
is-
should be.
We look at it
We should
right
be doing
away.
it in your office.
We get horrified and say, okay.
It's easy to fix once you
Yeah.
see the pictures, like the pictures of the teeth and the gums you showed me on the screen as big as this wall, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh! I'm
We can
brushing
do better.
and flossing 4 times a day, and
Yeah.
still my mouth is not like an A. A C is not good enough. I want an A.
Yeah,
Even a
because
B plus isn't good enough.
We give grades here.
Yes,
It's an A or an F. We don't give C's.
that's what I would do too. A F. A F.
That's so much fun. So what do you want the people to know? They're watching and you're so much fun.
I want you to know that this is not difficult to fix. Keep your teeth cleaned. Please be spiritual in whatever way you're spiritual, because we're always praying every day. Very positive to think positive. But you need to have clean water. How do you know on any of those pieces of meat that you're eating, do you think they drank filtered water? No. Do you think they had their teeth cleaned? How many rotted teeth would be in those animals, which goes to that animal's blood, and then you're
And the
eating
heart,
it?
yeah.
Right? And it's just so simple to eat. If we go back to the simpler times,
Yeah.
just eat things that would grow out of your yard, like walnuts and almonds. They come off the trees, and
Yeah.
all the things that we can grow in the ground. I have 13 grow towers, so I love hydroponics.
Get out.
So I grow one whole tower of herbs, and then at one point I had all 13 towers in my house. It smelled like a basil factory. I couldn't even work because it
I
took me a
love
lot
it.
of time to manage 13 towers, but I would have 260 lettuce plants growing through the tower garden. So you can look up tower gardens and you can see these beautiful pictures. You'll put your seed in the little pot, and the water comes up from the bottom, and it sprinkles down like a waterfall, and it waters the roots.
Oh my
and you're putting filtered
God.
mineral water
Yeah.
in the bottom of this 20-gallon bottom of the tower garden. And you know, if you don't want to grow your lettuces and your herbs, that's fine. Even if you go simple to Publix, you can buy Organic Girl. It's hydroponic organic lettuce, and it's the little baby leaves. Publix has it all the time. I get maybe 6 boxes from them a week, and you can get all these beautiful microgreen baby lettuces. Each lettuce is about this big, and it has the purple tips on it. It's butter lettuce with a purple tip.
Wow.
And it is so delicious in a salad. So if you
That's
don't want to
amazing.
have your own tower gardens, even places like Publix have that Organic Girl hydroponically grown lettuce that's been triple washed.
Wow.
You don't even have to wash it because it's been washed in filtered water 3 times.
Wow. This is a learning experience right here. Woo-hoo.
So if you're just eating clean and not eating things that can give you infection, and you, like you said, you exercise, you do your grounding, maybe you go to the sea to get some minerals as you're grounding with your feet on the beach. We know in Japan, forest bathing is my favorite thing to do. I love to take my RV and go up in the mountains in North Carolina and just be around those trees, and you just get goosebumps all over you. And I have a little tiny small house, but my whole yard is maybe 200 or 300 butterfly plants. And when I go out in my yard, it looks like a jungle, but I've got hundreds of butterflies and little baby bees that don't bother you. They're busy pollinating all the flowers. And you could just see all of those all over the yard. And those things give you the frequency from the flowers and the leaves and the energy. And, you could go to any park and be around the trees. They've even showed that if you will shine on the leaves of the trees in the forest, far infrared, those leaves glow, and that far infrared and those energy will go from the leaves into you. And that's why we think it ignites your immune system, because they're talking to you with their energy. And Japan has been screaming about this for years, but now there's an American study that actually publishes that and did it and tested it. And they were accurate that the Japanese were correct. And it's called forest breathing. But you can go anywhere around any trees and do that. And get
Yeah, I was reading about, when you actually walk, you're taking a walk and you walk by the trees know what energy frequency you need.
Right.
Isn't that beautiful? That's why kids love the parks and they're just giggling and they're just running around. We have to go back to that. Isn't that?
That doctor that's running that MedCam podcast all over the internet, Dr. Roger, you can look him up. He's amazing. He is always saying, because he's an emergency room doctor, when I could take those patients out of the hospital and put them outside, they will leave the hospital at least 4 or 5 days earlier, and they get well really fast just because they're around some trees and just from the sunlight hitting them. And he said, we can now prove that we have published studies from all over the world that prove that this is factual.
I love it. I love it. So much information, that you're a wealth of information. Tell me about, in your personal life, what keeps you balanced?
The hyperbaric has helped me more than anything. Everybody that I put in there that's under stress, and of course, I know you're working long hours. I'm working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And you have all these people that are dropping their emotions on you. And you're also helping them with sickness and infection that they have. And of course, all of my people have gotten well, except for a couple over the last 40 years that came to me and it was too late for me to help them. And they had been chemoed and radiated to death.
Right.
So I said to them, I don't know what I can do for you at this point, but I'll give you 100%. But I said, I can't say that I can help you at this point. You didn't find me or the right person soon enough. And they just, 2 or 3 rounds of chemo and radiation just ate them up, breast to brain, and that's really hard to battle. But hyperbaric has really completely changed my life. Also, once a week, I will go in the Hocket, which is ozone and oxygen combined. So it's not just oxygen by itself, but the oxygen under pressure has really been great. And then, of course, I do Beamer every single day, and I also sleep on it at night. Also, I recently found some very interesting on our Vedic eye doctor, Alan Tullison, who is an eye doctor, but he's a PhD level in Ayurvedic medicine, and he had suggested to me called Jade Defender and Spirit Calm, which are our Vedic herbs, 5 little pills. They're about this tiny. Take them once or twice a day, just as a protection from any toxic winds from people that might hit you, and just to calm down any stress or anxiety that you might feel. And just doing that combination alone and increasing my K2, going to a mega K2, it's changed my life quite dramatically in a very good way.
That's awesome. Well, we have Cowboy here, and she hasn't mentioned Cowboy. Get him over here.
Yes, we can prove the concept.
He is part of her healing.
And also we have
a little doggy. Introduce him.
This is Cowboy, and he will be 19 in June. Never been sick one day in his life. And I also feed him organic vegetables twice a day that I puree, kind of like, it looks like green mashed potatoes or orange mashed potatoes. I give him carrots, green beans, peas, and he gets 1 inch of wild salmon, and he gets 2 chlorella tablets a day. And I give him a few drops of vitamin C, a few drops of vitamin D. I give him a probiotic and an enzyme and a mineral powder. And all of my toy poodles have lived to be at least 20. And I think when we prove the concept that animals should have filtered water and drink clean organic food and the wild salmon, because of course you can't, these small dogs that only weigh 3 pounds, they can't do nuts. I do give them hemp hearts, but you have to really give them the wild salmon so they can get their omega-3s, because you just can't give them nuts. Their body, especially this tiny, they can't handle the nuts. And all of my poodles live to be 20. And this dog is 5th generation, supposed to be a white dog. And they said within 8 months, he will be solid white. And as you can see, he's got some white in his face, which he came to me with a little white in his face and his ears. But he stayed mostly black.
Yeah. He's like you.
From the diet.
No gray hair. Look at this.
And 5 other generations of his parents before him. And on his legal papers, it says he is a silver gray dog. And I said to the owners, well, mine never turned more than 5% more silver because of the way I eat them. Same thing with Gary Knoll in Naples. He has monkeys. He's also plant-based. He's written probably 30 books. He's plant-based. He's an Ironman, and he's been in wellness probably 50, 60 years. But he has monkeys that have lived 3 times their life expectancy because he feeds them the same diet that he eats.
That's amazing.
And he says, if we can prove it with animals, we can normally prove it that it works for people too.
Yeah. Well, now the veterinarians is a business, right?
Right.
And our families, when they have pets, they ate what we ate.
Right.
This canned food is not good for us.
And this dry brown
and
kibble.
it's not good for them either.
And who knows how old it is and what kind
Mold.
of metals or molds in particular could be in there. I've never given any of my toy poodles, which I've had since I was 2. And I typically have 2 or 3 at a time. I never gave them any dog food. It was just always fresh, pureed, organic vegetables with 1 inch of the wild salmon. Because again, on the other fish, and I love fish. I'd love to eat fish, but I don't, because I don't know what kind of heavy metals is in them. And
right.
I don't know.
We have to protect our brains.
Right. We need the omega-3, right? The omega-3 is critical. But I take sage oil and I take the sea buckthorn oil. And then I have Young Living. I take the Inner Defense, which is a combination of different kinds of oils. But that chia seed pudding, boy, that's pretty magical for a high level of omega-3s.
So how many omega-3s do you get per tablespoon on?
I always just, once you add the water to it and you've soaked it for 24 hours, it swells up about this tall. So maybe it starts this low and just keeps swelling. And then each day I add a little bit more water because the chia seeds just keep expanding.
Yeah.
So it's one measurement to measure it when it's dry. And it's another measure when you measure it when it's, now it's this tall, and it only started out this tall in my glass jar about this big.
Right.
So I'm typically taking about a cup out a day.
Okay.
Now, how would it be dried? It'd probably be a couple tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons.
Okay, great.
But you remember the old commercials? That. Maybe you don't remember this because you're European, but when I was growing up, they sold for presents the chia pet. You would buy this clay chia pet and you would water the top and the hair would grow. It was green, but that was chia seeds on the chia pet on top of the clay ceramic. Chia seeds are fantastic for the eyes, but they're also fantastic for the hair.
Wow.
That's why they used it as a chia pet.
I never put that 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. Wellness is so interesting.
That's
if
amazing.
You start to, date it back to whatever. And also, one of the reasons I started in the wellness field, because when I was 17 and a half, I joined the military and I worked at Tripler Medical Center in Hawaii. And they started vaccinating me. They vaccinated me 2 times. And I'm like, oh, I thought if I joined, I didn't even think when I turned to 18 years old that they would be vaccinated. They would just line us up and shoot us up with the vaccines. I just started passing out, and I had, great energy. I was a runner. I was the brigade commander in the boot camp. I'd been running, and I was running all the girls in the troops and singing and doing the cadence. That was kind of fun. But it didn't dawn on me that they would just start vaccinating us, and they wouldn't even tell us what they were until that's when I started thinking, okay,
I got to get out of here.
I got to get out of here. And then that was my field to go into the wellness. And now when I travel, when you talk about how do you stay well, because I did get a bed bug bite from a hotel room that was $1,400 a night with Italian linen sheets on it. And I got a bed bug bite. And I was at a cancer conference, and they had one of the microscopes there, and it had gone from the mattress, climbed onto me and bit me. And I woke up with a fever, and I was right there, and they checked my blood. Oh, you got Lyme disease, right? So now when I travel, I just got back from a trip a few weeks ago. I take a bed bug mattress protector, You can buy those for around $25 to $28. It's like a condom for the mattress. You zip it on the mattress and I leave it there. And it's just part of the budget for my travel. I don't even bring it back home. Slip it on there and the bed bugs cannot get through the fabric or the zipper or the lining around the zipper.
Okay, got
And
it.
I just buy a king size. So if you have a full bed or a queen bed or a king, it just goes on there and I take it with me and I put it on the mattress. Those are the ways that we get contaminated. And when I took it to that particular hotel, I was doing a conference at Caltech with a physicist. And the hotel gentleman who came up to help me put it on, he said, "How did you know we had bed bugs?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know that. But when I've researched it and I started studying it, I figured and I understood that maybe 70, 80% of beds might have bed bugs in hotels." And he goes, "You're right, but we never talk about it. We're not allowed to talk." So I think the simple things we can do that are not expensive, that you just keep infections away from you, you're going to have a good, healthy life. And it's not that difficult to do.
Now you took it to the next level. I never thought of that. When COVID happened, after they opened up, my daughter and I, we traveled quite a bit. And from that moment, we would travel with our own linens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was part of the thing. Because
and I do too.
we were kind of like, we don't know who slept here.
And not only that, they're
kind of
using
a thing.
horrible chemicals to wash those sheets that can really make you itchy and irritate your skin, versus we're using the organic, natural cleaners in ours. And I do too. I take my sheets and my bed bugs. So I have a separate little small luggage for that I take that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So many beautiful topics. Anything that you want to share that in your heart that that our listeners are people that are trying to get well, that are cutting edge, they know a lot like us, and they are like, they're calling it biohacking now, right? There's a new trend, biohacking.
There's always a new word.
Anti-aging. But like you said, health starts in the inside.
Right.
From what we put here, the mouth connects to the anus. So it's all like one connection. People think that it's not connected.
As soon as you put that food or that heavy metal in you, it's going around your teeth, around the gums, possibly into the roots if there's any pockets there. And who doesn't have pockets? I thought I didn't have any, but Sparkle found 2 or 3 on me. I'm like, what are you kidding? So now when I come here each month, the teeth are clean, pockets are checked, and if needed, a couple little zips with the laser, and it's like a girdle lifting up your gums, whoosh, nice and tight, and it's like an instant facelift around your teeth. And you can actually see it with the mirror. You can see the skin go up and turn pink and wrap tight around the tooth. So if you're putting bad stuff in your mouth, the first thing it's going to do is affect the teeth and the gums, and we don't want to have to keep doing that. That's just silly. It's expensive and it's painful, and it's easy to fix to just not put that stuff in. And not everybody can afford hyperbaric, but we can all go out to the trees and get the clean air and get the rays from the sun. And everybody says, well, too much sun could cause cancer. I'm like, really? We really don't know that. Just go out early in the morning or late in the day, so it's not exactly at noon.
Exactly.
Because the new research is overwhelming that the full spectrum of the rays heal the eyes, the retina, so many things. And we need some UV on us. We just want it early morning or late in the day, but early morning is the best time. I go out at 7:30 in the morning. I typically start work around 9:30 or 10. I do my 2 hours in the morning and let that sun shine on you. And I don't put any of that garbage gob on me, that sunscreen and all that stuff.
Of course not. That's beautiful. So you live what you preach.
And it's not difficult. It's really easy. You're just cooking things that came from a garden and having salads and beans and lentils I put in a crock pot. It's just not that difficult. So and it doesn't have to be expensive.
How do you, eating beans is very inexpensive. So how do you prepare the beans? Let's get into that detail.
I put them, I soak them overnight, and then I'll bring the water to a boil and boil it for about 20 minutes, and then I throw the water out. That gets rid of some sulfurs and some lectins.
Okay.
Then I will put it in fresh liquid, and I don't do bone broth because I'm vegan, but I don't ever lecture anybody. Everybody does what they want. I just take fresh filtered water, sea salt, and then whatever herbs I want. you know. And I always, if I'm making white beans, I don't do this, but any other kind of bean I'm making, I put a whole cut up beet in there. And by the time you drink that with the celery and the carrots and all these beautiful herbs in there, it tastes amazing. Like on how do we know on the different broths, was there heavy metals? Because if you think about, we go into saunas and we sweat. And what we're going to sweat out in a sauna is these heavy metals. And how do we know on a bone broth that that's the sweat of a cow's or a chicken's bone? How do we know if there's metals in their bones?